podcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Hi, this is Leo Laporte, and this is my Tech Guy podcast. This episode aired on the Premier Networks on Saturday, January 30th, 2021. This is episode 1766. Enjoy. Our annual survey is still going strong, but it's almost over. It closes February 8th, a little more than a week from now. We really would love your feedback. We want to know more about you. It helps us tailor our programming to fit you. It also helps us find advertising, which keeps us on the air. If you don't mind, it'll only take a few minutes. We don't track you. We want to make this completely voluntary. Answer the questions you're comfortable with. twit.tv/survey21. Last week to do it, so please go to twit.tv/survey21, and thanks in advance. The Tech Guy podcast is brought to you by Babbel. Babbel has made learning new languages fun and easy with bite-sized lessons that you'll actually use in the real world. Purchase a 3-month Babbel subscription. Get an additional 3 months free when you go to babbel.com and use the promo code TechGuy. And by Udacity. Build your tech skills through industry-leading programs created and recognized by top companies worldwide. Get a Nanodegree from Udacity in as little as 12 weeks. Visit udacity.com/twit and use the coupon code TWIT at checkout. You'll get 50% off through May 30th, 2021. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smartwatches, GameStop, AMC, and Nokia. 8888. Oh, and Dogecoin. Let's not forget that. 8888 Ask Leo is the phone number. 888-827-5536. That's toll free from anywhere in the U.S. or Canada. Outside that area, you could still call me. You just use Skype, and it shouldn't cost you anything because it's a free call in the U.S., so I think Skype won't charge you. I'm pretty sure they don't. No credits involved. 888-827-5536. Stuff I talk about goes to the website techguylabs.com. Techguylabs.com. And you know, today I think I'll put a bunch of links on the site to a variety of pages explaining what's going on in the stock market this week. Because I think it's fascinating. It's an example of how the internet, and in particular the ability the internet has and social media has to organize large numbers of people to do something in concert. 3 weeks ago, it was attack the Capitol building. This week, it was attack the hedge funds, the Wall Street traders. And in both cases, chaos ensued. But from the point of view of people on the Reddit forum, Wall Street Bets, good chaos. It's like good trouble. Good chaos ensued. So what are we talking about? Well, I'm sure you heard all about it, and I'm not going to do what I think probably everybody and their brother's doing, explaining what shorts are and options and calls and puts and longs and how the stock market works. I don't need to do that. Suffice to say, there's a little storefront, you probably see it in your local mall, called GameStop. GameStop is where my kids used to go to buy video games. Because in the day, back in the day, just like you had to go to the record store to buy records and the CD store to buy CDs, to buy games, you had to go to the game store. In most cases, this was GameStop, and you'd buy a thing. It kind of looked like a DVD plastic cover. You remember these with a CD or DVD inside, and you'd stick it in your game machine, you'd play the game. But lately, malls have been kind of suffering. Not just from the pandemic, even before, but the pandemic didn't help. And to top that off, digital downloads started to replace physical for not just records and CDs and all of that stuff, but for games. Nowadays, you don't go to the game store to buy a game. You just buy it on your Xbox or your PlayStation and downloads, and you're done. My 18-year-old still likes to have physical media, but he's kind of an old-fashioned 18-year-old. You know, the main reason for that is after he's done with the game, bored with the game, he can sell it at GameStop as used and get some of his money back and credit to buy a new game. So there is that. But for a long time, the future of GameSpot didn't look all that good. In fact, they've been through, 4 or 5 CEOs in the last 12 months. That's always a bad sign. Always a bad sign. Their stock's been going down, you look at a stock like that, you go, it doesn't have a lot of future. And apparently that's what Wall Street did. Wall Street bet against GameSpot's stock. They call that going short, where you borrow a bunch of stock and sell it at the current price, figuring in next week or next month that price is going to go in half. You can then buy the stock at that lower price, repay the borrow, and you'll have made money. And it's something people do to hedge their bets in the stock market. That's called going short. There's going long, which is what everybody usually does. You buy low and hopefully you sell high and you make a little money in the stock market. This is buying high or borrowing high, selling low and making a little money in the stock market. And hedge funds do this to hedge their bets. Hedge funds are set up for the very wealthy to protect themselves against sudden drops in the stock market. And what do they look for? They look for stocks that don't look too promising. GameStop is one. AMC, the movie theater chain, practically bankrupt. That's another. But that doesn't take into account the amateurs. You know, when you play poker, I'm told, I'm not a good poker player, but you can play poker. You like to play people who know what they're doing because you can kind of predict, that guy likes to bet a weak hand. That guy never bluffs. You kind of get to know what they're doing. The thing that really is hard to play against is somebody who's so bad, such a terrible poker player, that they're unpredictable. Their strategy changes from one hand to the other. Sometimes they'll bet, sometimes they won't. And so it's hard to read them, right? It's the same in the stock market. The pros, the people who do this all the time, there's certain rules they follow. There's certain behavioral things they expect. They never thought that Reddit would come along. It's so funny. There is a lot of this is in common with a lot of other things that have happened in social media. You probably have noticed this. I certainly have. The mobs form on social media, don't they? That's kind of... social media has enabled this kind of mob mentality, this ability for people of like mind to get together and then act together, and that's the power of it. Any individual who has a crazy belief the world is flat by his or herself they don't have any power. The world's flat. Probably go down to the town square and have a sign. The world is flat. Big deal. But you get 5,000 of them together on Reddit or Twitter or Facebook, suddenly there's some power. And the fact that there's 5,000 in the whole world, people who believe the world's flat, convinces more thousands of people to go, well, maybe there's something to that. And you could see the snowball effect. We've seen this happen many times now, and this is the most recent. I think it's fascinating. There is a little bit of a rebellion going on, too, because the people on Reddit, I think that they probably knew that GameStop wasn't going to be a big stock. It's what I guess we're calling it a meme stock. It's not necessarily there's value in GameStop. By the way, GameStop gains nothing from all of this ferment, except maybe some news, some column inches in the newspaper. But otherwise, the money doesn't go to GameStop. It goes to other stockholders. Here's the problem. Everybody in, the normal financial circles, the wise men all said, this is a dog of a stock. We're going to short it. They shorted it. They borrowed so much. They borrowed 140% of the total value of GameStop. They borrowed more stock than exists. That put them in a kind of a bind because when folks at Reddit decided, and we're not sure exactly, by the way, who's behind this and how it happened. But I'm not interested in the stock market per se, but I'm interested in how social media can be used to create movements. This movement got created. Perhaps it was, let's stick it to the shorts. Let's hurt the big Wall Street hedge funds. Perhaps they actually thought there was value in it. You know, there was some evidence that maybe GameStop had a future. There was a guy, the guy who started Chewy, the online pet store, Ryan Cohen, who bought a lot of GameStop stock in last fall because he had a seat on the board. I think he had 13% of it by the end of last year. And this guy's considered a smart investor, and people probably saw that too. And he got a seat on the board. He's going to convince GameStop to start going digital, maybe find a new life. So that could be also the people on this Reddit forum, Wall Street Bets, said, maybe there's something. Maybe they really thought this was a good buy. Maybe they wanted to stick it to the hedge funds. Maybe it was just one of those things that everybody got in for the lulls. You've heard that phrase, for the lulls? Comes from LOL, laugh out loud. Not little old lady, laugh out loud. Not love you lots. LOL means laugh out loud. And the lulls, the LOLS or LULZ, as it finally came to be spelled, is, we're just doing it for the fun of it. I'm going to buy $10 worth of GameStop or $100. Some of this was facilitated by apps like Webull and probably you've heard of Robinhood. These were apps that let people buy stocks with no commission. It made it very easy, in fact, to go short on a stock, to go long on a stock. You just download the app. Easy peasy. There's a long story about Robinhood and why this is a terrible thing to use for your stock purchases, but I'll save that for another day. That is part of the factor, though, is the internet startups, the unicorns, seeing an opportunity and jumping on it, which is what Robinhood did. And so they got their share of the pie. The only people who really got hurt were the hedge funds who had so overborrowed for the stock that suddenly they had to sell, buy. They had to buy to repay their borrowing. They had to buy stock at a much higher price. They lost their shirts. In fact, some of them almost went bankrupt. Billions of dollars. Billions of dollars. Billions of dollars. Melvin Capital, Citron Capital, these are all big hedge funds, and the term is they were squeezed. This Reddit squeezed the shorts. Then Robinhood stepped in, and the stock market stepped in, and this is where the rebellion says to protect the rich people, and stopped trading. Robinhood said, no, you can't sell more than one share. You can't take advantage of this. People got very upset. Very, very upset. And I think if you're watching on the sidelines, perhaps you're saying, oh, look, people are making money, lots of it, on this GameStop stock. It's hard to say. Or, by the way, it's now gone past GameStop. It's AMC, as I mentioned, the theater chain. It's Nokia. All of these are kind of undervalued, or perhaps stocks on the way down that there are a lot of shorts in the market. Even a cryptocurrency that is itself a meme cryptocurrency. It's called Dogecoin, named after that dog. You've seen the Doge that says funny things. It literally is a meme. Somebody created a cryptocurrency some years back. That's going through the roof. And part of me thinks this is just, on the surface reading of it is just little guys going, yeah, take that, Wall Street. Ha ha. And certainly some of it is that. Gotcha. They're not even maybe trying to make money. I think some are, but maybe not even that. Maybe just saying, let's just stick it to the hedge funds. But it might be more complicated because it's very hard to see who's moving this. And it could be, some have proposed, it's not just the little guys, maybe not at all the little guys. It's other hedge funds who aren't short on these stocks trying to put their competitors out of business. And there's even those who say it's Russia or it's China. It's certainly rattling a lot of people. Look, the financial part of it is less interesting to me than what is I think, going to be a new trend. We live in interesting times. That's the old Chinese curse, right? Certainly, from the point of view of tech, these have been very interesting times the last couple of decades. It's getting more interesting all the time, and it's coming from the power of social media, the unexpected power of social media to elect a president, to make millions in the stock market, and perhaps threaten the entire stability of American financial markets, to go on the attack against people and groups. These are digital mobs, completely fostered and created by social media networks. It was originally Twitter and Facebook, and now you've got to throw Reddit in there. Actually, Reddit's always been a player there. I like Reddit. I use Reddit all the time. I like social media in general. But I think it's. I think we might start to see. It might, There's an old. I don't know if this is true or not, but you'll see this as you're going across old bridges. You'll say, break step. If you're in the military and you're marching, they say break step when you go over this bridge, because if we all march over this bridge in lockstep, we'll create resonances that could destroy the bridge. It could actually fall down. So break step as you walk over the bridge. That's what we're seeing. We're seeing these resonances, large groups of people, when they move together, very powerful. And there are the tools now, these social media networks, to make it possible. And by the way, it's hidden social media networks too, like WhatsApp and Telegram and Discord. These are messaging systems. What happens is these groups operate at first in public, but then they get scrutiny, already a lot of scrutiny against Wall Street bets. So they move to these more private messaging systems. There's still social networks. There's still maybe tens of thousands of people in a single messaging group. Same conversation, but just out of the public eye. You got to be in the know. And it's very powerful. It's as if we have become an army marching in lockstep across the bridge of our democracy, and it's starting to shake. I think this is very interesting. This is a consequence of technology that I think most of the time in the old days, people like me who were watching the rise of social media and the internet thought this is going to be great. This is going to be a democratizing force. Everybody's going to get a voice. It won't be the big radio stations and TV stations and newspapers. It'll have all the control of the truth of the news. Everybody will have a voice. And now it's come true, and maybe we were a little bit optimistic. Maybe it's a mixed bag of blessings. I don't know. What do you think? I don't think this is the last time we're going to see this. I think this is going to be more and more and more. 8888 Ask Leo. Laura's playing my music. That means I have to shut up now. And we'll go to your calls right after this. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
It is.
Yeah, I think a lot of people made money on it. Remember, though, one of the things about the stock market is for every dollar you make, somebody's losing a dollar, pretty much, right? The money is not made out of nothing. And the other thing that's kind of important to remember is GameStop no longer has anything to do with GameStop. It hasn't for a long time. I find that fascinating too. Ladies and gentlemen, the queen of our party line, the unbreakable phone angel, Kim Schaffer. She's ready to answer your calls. Kim, did you invest in GameStop stock?
I wish I would have bought it at 17, I'll tell you what.
Well, everybody does. I wish I'd bought Apple at 5. I mean, of course.
Even if I only put $1,000 in, I'd be $32,000 richer.
Well, the guy who made the most money, probably, is the guy who kind of started this.
Right.
He threw deep effing value. I can't even say his handle because it's profane. Threw his life savings into a GameStop stock of $53,000. He says now he's worth, I think, $33 million. Of course, the trick is knowing when to sell it.
Right.
And in this case, because Robinhood has halted trading or says you can only sell one share, finding a way to sell it.
Yeah, how's he going to sell it now? Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. And you have to find somebody who will buy it. Part of the reason this is problematic is now people like that guy have a real incentive to tell other people, oh, it's a good stock, you got to buy it. Because that's the only way he can realize his investment is by finding some sucker to buy it at that new high price.
So he's stuck with a lot of...
Well, and it's been going up and down and up and down like a yo-yo.
I've been watching it a couple days.
Yeah. Anyway,
it was at 17 earlier this month. That's what's so amazing.
Yeah.
The other day I saw it at
320, that's what
325.
That's what Melvin Capital and Citron Research thought. The hedge funds who shorted it, they thought this thing could only go down. Ha ha. The thing that I find fascinating is they ended up effectively buying more shares of the stock than exist, 140%, which means they're kind of stuck. It's kind of a problem. Kim, get those phone callers ready. We're going to take a break.
Ready.
Scott Wilkinson is here. He's going to talk home theater. I promise we're done with talking about GameStop.
Unless somebody
Kim.
calls about it.
Well, then that's going to happen now. Actually, that's what they're saying now on Wall Street Bets. Hold. Don't sell the stock. It's going to go up. Hey, I want to talk about my new thing. Oh, am I excited about this? Let me get this back here because it's time to talk about Babbel. Do you know about Babbel? I'm going to fire up Babbel here. It's time for me to take my Spanish lesson. I just love this. Mucho gusto. Okay, let's do a little Spanish. So I took French on Babbel, and actually I had taken French in high school, but now I realize the most useful thing for me right now probably would be to learn some Spanish. You know, here we are in California. I loved Spain. They actually have two kinds of Spanish. They have Mexican Spanish or South American, Latin America Spanish, and they have Spanish. But I'm going to do let me turn this up so you can hear it. So here's what do you do is they have the
Buenos días.
Buenos días. I'm not very good at this. Let's do another one here.
Buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes. So you're going to hear it, you're going to see it. You're going to get quizzes in it. I'm really just starting. Mucho gusto. And then, don't laugh at me, Laura. I'm learning, okay? And then, these are 15-minute lessons, which is great. It's a perfect way to learn a new language on the go because 15 minutes, who doesn't have time for that? I've set reminders every morning. I do the lesson in the morning, and then I can do a kind of a recap in the afternoon or the evening, so I keep it fresh in my head. You know what's cool about Babbel? Other programs use AI to build these lessons. Babbel lessons are created by real people, 100+ language experts, with a teaching method that's scientifically proven to be effective, and I will vouch for that. 14 languages, Spanish, French, 2 Spanishes, French, Italian, German. They have speech recognition technology, which is the best I've ever used. So as you learn the phrases, then you repeat them, and they say, no, say it again. There you go. You get it right. I just love it. They even have, and this is brilliant, they've just added babbel.com is the website, babbel.com. They've just added live online conversation sessions, right? The best way to learn a language with native speakers in real time. So as you get better, I'm not up to that point in Spanish yet. I'd be hard. But as you get better, you can have these conversations. They have so much stuff at babbel.com. And I think that no one does a better job of making it easy to learn, but also doing it right. I am so excited. It's the #1 selling language learning app. And I'm learning Spanish. I think my French is pretty good. I used it in France a couple of years ago, and I was able to make my way. It was pretty good. We've got a great deal for you right now. When you purchase a 3-month Babbel subscription, Mucho gusto. Hasta pronto.
Hasta pronto.
Hasta pronto. You'll get an additional 3 months free. That's 6 months for the price of 3. But in 6 months, you could be, well, you'd be talking along. Go to Babbel. That really does not take long with these sessions. 15 minutes at a time. Easy peasy. Go to Babbel.com. Our promo code is TechGuy. Please use that so they know you saw it here. BABBEL.com. Code TechGuy gets you 3 extra months free. Babbel. Language for life. All right. Choose the correct translation. Okay. Mucho gusto. It's a pleasure.
Mucho gusto.
Mucho gusto. I like to say it along because I'm getting my my accent. How's it sound, Laura? Am I getting there? Mucho gusto. Hasta pronto. Hasta pronto. Yeah. Hasta pronto. Maybe that's my Italian roots. Babbel.com. Use the code TechGuy. What is hip? Well, this is hip. Scott Wilkinson, our home theater guru. He is a contributor at TechHive.com. Joins us every week to talk about home theater. Next Sunday, the Super Bowl. Is this the biggest buying week for TVs? It is traditionally. I don't know what it'll be this week, right?
Yeah, well, it is, certainly. I've seen some deals that claim to be even better than Black Friday.
Yeah.
So,
doesn't mean people are going to rush out and buy TVs, though.
Well, yeah. Although this is closer to the end of a product annual cycle.
That's one reason.
Black Friday's still in November, so they haven't announced their new TVs which they do at CES typically.
Right.
And then now it's going to be February, and so the products are closer to the end of life and the next generation coming up. So they probably are selling for a little bit better anyway.
Good prices. It's clear that we're going to get good prices. It's not clear whether people are going to take advantage of them, I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, sure, of course. I mean, if you invested in GameStop,
maybe you can afford. Yeah, you can get one of those new micro LED TVs. So what are the deals? You've got every year at this time, you do a chart for us.
Yes, and that's going to be hopefully in the show notes. And the chart that I put together this year is not necessarily, specific deals. You can go online and find those very easily.
Scott, we're losing your audio. Can you turn off your camera? Let's see if that helps.
Yeah, let's see. Oh, man, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm going to turn off my
camera.
camera.
We're looking at your chart anyway. That's what I'm looking at.
Okay, you don't need to see my ugly mug.
So
anyway,
it's radio, Scott. I got news for you. This is a radio show, so nobody can see you anyway. Go ahead. That's why everybody thinks I'm good looking. Because no one knows. So
no one knows.
These are...
So what I've put together is a chart of the TV lines from each manufacturer that I think are good.
Yeah.
Now, the deals that you're going to see for Super Bowl Sunday, some of them are of good TVs, but some of them are for not so good TVs.
Oh, that's important. So don't just buy by price because you might be...
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly right. For example... TCL makes a variety of lines of product of TVs, and the ones I recommend start at the Series 5, and they go Series 5, Series 6, and Series 8. There are many really good deals, surprisingly good deals on the Series 4, for example, from TCL.
But you don't recommend those.
No, because it's edge lit. It's got the type of backlighting that I don't like and I don't think looks very good.
Yeah.
So I say, look for deals. It's a great time to buy a TV, but look for deals on these particular lines because the super cheapo, the bottom of the barrel lines from most of these manufacturers simply don't look very good. And so even though you're getting a great deal, are you going to be happy in the long term? Maybe some people will. Some people won't care.
So TCL don't even look at anything except 5, 6, and 8. What about 7?
Correct. There is no 7.
Okay.
For some reason, TCL doesn't make a 7.
Okay. Nothing below 5.
I don't know why.
Okay. Nothing below 5.
Nothing below 5. That's the key.
And these are these all HDR 4K TVs? Yes. Okay.
Yes. They are all HDR 4K TVs. 4K is now the standard.
You can't
the
go
de facto
below.
standard.
Yeah. And by the way,
You
so is smart TV, which is unfortunate because
Yeah.
we're not fans, but that's okay. You're going to get it anyway.
That's
so,
exactly
okay.
right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. Now, the interesting thing is you're going to be buying a 4K TV. The Super Bowl will not be broadcast in 4K this year.
Yeah, isn't that something?
Isn't that weird?
Why not?
Well,
COVID?
They claim the reason that I've heard is COVID.
Yeah. They don't want to bring all
Or-
those fancy cameras to the stadium.
Well, they've got to bring a
Tampa
bunch
Bay?
of but they got to bring a bunch of cameras to the stadium anyway.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Why not make them 4K TVs? Well, apparently there's more remote production going on. Right? So there's not gonna be,
yeah, okay.
People are going to be in different locations rather than all in a production truck.
They can't all
a
sit in the
remote
truck. Yeah,
They can't all sit in the truck, right?
That
so
makes
they've got to
sense.
be all different places.
Here's the most important question. Will the Puppy Bowl be in 4K?
Well, I don't think it'll be in 4K, but
well.
that's what I'm going to be watching.
I know.
I don't care about the Super Bowl. I'm gonna record it so that I can watch the commercials and the halftime show.
All right, so
I don't even know who's playing.
We don't care. TCL 5, 6, and 8. Those, and the reason is those have full array local dimming, and that's giving you the best
local dimming
backlight. These are all LCD TVs. What else should we look for?
Well, one thing certainly is if you can afford an OLED TV from anybody, it's going to look great.
Okay.
I recommend any OLED TV. Now, the one slight caveat to that is LG has a bunch of lines of OLED. They're the sort of the leaders of OLED. But their very lowest line, called BX, has a somewhat less powerful video processor. So I recommend the CX. The next step up from that is the sweet spot, as far as I'm concerned.
Okay.
And we are seeing sales on that that are pretty darn good. We're seeing a 55-inch LG CX at Best Buy for $1,400. And the 65-inch, I think it's at Amazon or it might be at Newegg, is like $2,000.
Okay, that's pretty good.
So
if you can,
pretty darn good.
LG makes a good OLED. Not the BX. Go with the CX, GX, WX, ZX.
Right.
The B1, the C1, the G1, and the Z1.
Right. Those are the 2021 models. Right.
Those are the 8Ks,
X.
right?
Some of them are.
Yeah.
Some of them are 8K.
I don't want 8K.
Yes.
I don't need 8K.
No, I don't really care about that either. No, that's true.
So the CX would be your best value. That's kind of what you should look at.
The CX is by all means the best value. Really, really good. And it's on sale now for the Super Bowl. TCL is my favorite brand for really low cost.
Okay. Vizio does OLEDs. We used to talk about Vizio all the time.
That's right. That's right. And they now have an OLED for around that same price, at regular price that the LG CX now is. The 55 at $1,300, the 65 at $2,000.
$2,000 is great for a 65-inch OLED. That's a great price, boy.
Oh, yeah. Phenomenal. Now, in Vizio, also, you're going to see sales on their V series, V for Vizio. I don't recommend the V series. I recommend you start at the M series. And if you can go for the M or the P series, which is the top of the line, you're going to get a really nice TV. The V series is reviewed as being only okay. So.
Do you get the feeling they name these to confuse you?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, just because I'm confused.
No question about it.
Okay.
These model names and model numbers, I'm going to write an article about that someday. I did once for musical instruments, for synthesizers and stuff. When I worked in that field, I wrote a semi-humorous piece on model numbers because they're ridiculous.
Yeah.
They're just stupid.
So if you could decipher it, you'd kind of know which ones are this year's, last year's, and all of that. Fortunately, Scott has put together a kind of a code deciphering code book, a cheat sheet, which we're going to put on the website. But we got 30 seconds left. The highlights would be what?
Highlights would be LG CX OLED if you can afford that. The Sony X900 or above is an excellent LCD TV. Any Sony OLED would be fine as well. A TCL 5.6 or 8, and maybe the Vizio OLEDs. I haven't seen them yet, so I don't really know. But those would be my top choices.
And the whole list is available at techguylabs.com. Thank you, Scott Wilkinson, home theater geek. TechHive.com. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. More calls right after this.
Hello, everybody in the chat room. You can't see me, but I can see you. Beatmaster, yeah, another column that indicated 2.1 features would be a nice addition. Okay, yeah, I agree. I was trying to put something together that was just basically indicating the lines that I like. LG is the only one really that's doing significant 2.1 features. So another reason to want to get the CX or the C1. Oh yeah, R. Chandra, thank you. I could show the timer in my HTML5 app. In the HTML5 app, thank you very much. Yes, Kay Woods, I am smiling. Thank you, Loquacious. I appreciate that. iTech says, is the Insignia Fire TV recommended by you along with the Samsung 7 series? No, I don't recommend the Insignia TV. It's a captive brand of Best Buy. I don't know for certain that it's falled, but I would be extremely surprised, shocked and amazed if it was falled, full array local dimming. I'm sure it's edge lit, almost positive. So it would not be something that I would generally recommend. Beatmaster asked, do all the LG models have all HDMI 2.1 features on all HDMI ports? Sony limits it to usually to 2 ports. I believe, I'd have to verify this, but I'm pretty sure they do HDMI 2.1 on all ports. And I do believe they implement full 48 kilobit, rather gigabit, gigabit per second speed on all their ports. They're at the forefront of 2.1 on TVs for sure. Edmonton Oiler Guy, does Panasonic sell Pro OLEDs in the U.S.? Yes, they do, but only to professionals. They do not sell them in the consumer market. So, the studios can get them, no problem. But we poor consumers cannot. So that's an unfortunate thing. That's why I didn't put them on the chart. I also didn't put Konka or Skyworth, both of whom are Chinese makers that are wanting to get into the U.S. market, and they've announced they're coming into the U.S. market, but we haven't seen them yet. So I will add them to the chart next year if they come into the market, and if they're good. We shall see.
Can you stick around for the top?
Sure can.
All righty. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Oh, I feel terrible. You poor people been hanging on. I gave you the phone number 45 minutes ago, and finally I'm getting to the phones. My apologies. Tony in Washington, D.C., thank you for being so very patient.
Oh, Sir Leo Laporte, thank you for answering my call.
Sir Tony, my pleasure. What can I do for you?
I am. Well, first I want to tell you that I am one of your hugest fans. I know you have many, but I am one of them also.
Thank you.
You, Patrick Norton, Kevin Rose.
Going back to the good old days at Tech TV.
To 98.
1998.
Yes, yes.
If you watch, I wish I could find those old shows. I guess some of them are on YouTube. I imagine they look pretty darn dated at this point.
Yeah, they all on YouTube. Even with your sidekick Erica Hill doing the news spots for
Yeah, now she's a big shot.
She's a big shot. Well, anyway, I want to make this a quick call. I know you got many callers. So I took your advice. You had turned around and said that when the M chip comes out, the price is going to kind of go up. But if you need to get a computer right away, go ahead and get something real quick. So I did. I got an iMac 27-inch.
Nice.
M chip.
No, it's the Intel version. Yeah.
Yeah, the Intel version. Now, it keeps giving me notifications to do the Big Sur. I don't want to do that yet because I'm still learning and I'm still following you on the other shows to learn everything I can. What I did find was this awesome feature on the clock where it makes the announcement every quarterly.
Yeah, it'll say, hello, it's quarter of dong, dong. Yeah, that's fun, isn't it?
I love it.
So annoying. I turn it on and then I turn it off soon thereafter.
I use it at home when I'm walking around, so it keeps me track
Perfect.
of time.
Yeah.
My question is that I have a laptop, I have a Dell, and I use it for traveling around. I go to the office and go out and about. I was trying to find out if there's an app or a link to do the same thing for the Dell computer or Microsoft software or either anywhere. I tried to Google it, but I could get all these weird links, and I didn't trust them.
What do you want to do? Turn off the notification?
No.
Oh, get it to talk to you.
Yeah, get it to talk to me the time. So when I'm at work, I'm out and about. While it's on, it'll tell me it's 2:45, it's 3 o'clock, it's
right.
4:45.
Right.
So I Googled all these links, and I didn't trust them, but I do trust you. So that's what I'm calling.
You can go to a site called Make Use Of. That's a reliable site. And they have an article from a couple of years ago, but it's still applicable. It's the reason I'm saying go to this site is because it's a script that you're going to load and then set in the task scheduler to go off every hour or every 15 minutes, however much you want. It's a long script, and so I'm not going to read it to you. But it uses the text-to-speech capabilities of Windows, which are built in, to automatically, in a mechanical voice, announce the time. And if you feel comfortable with it, this script is written in Visual Basic. But it's pretty much like English. If you feel comfortable with it, you could actually modify it and make it every 15 minutes or whatever you want. But so the trick is you're going to write a little script that's going to use a language called Visual Basic. If you felt comfortable, you could also do it in PowerShell or other scripting languages on Windows. And then you would use the task scheduler to automatically run that script at the top of every hour. And it would then say whatever you want, by the way. It doesn't have to just say the time. It could say, hey, Tony, it's 11 o'clock. What are you doing? You can make it say anything you want.
That is so cool.
So Make Use Of is a great site for this kind of thing. They're reliable. They're trustworthy. They're not going to steer you wrong. And this script is really simple, but a clever idea. There probably are third-party programs. I'll take a look, and maybe the chat room or somebody listening will know. They're probably, one of the reasons people use Windows is because there's 8 million programs available for it. And I'm sure somebody's written a talking clock. So that would be the other thing to do is look in the Windows App Store for talking clock or something like that. And you probably could find something similar. If you get an Apple Watch, it'll do it too,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So then you can wear it on your wrist. So what do you when the computer says, "Hey Tony, it's 8 a.m." What do? You jump up?
It tells me I'm running late.
Oh, you're late, Tony. Oh, that's good. Well, so this is the beauty part. Once you kind of get the idea of this script and this task scheduler, you can make it do anything you want. So in theory, you could write a script that would look at your calendar and say, "Hey, your next appointment's in 10 minutes. You better get on the time." I need this, actually. This is a good idea.
That is so cool.
This is one of the reasons I always encourage people to learn a little bit of programming. If you can program a computer, you can have it do things that no one else wanted it to do enough to program it to do it.
Wow.
And make it be your very, very own. Tony, it's a pleasure to talk to you.
Thank you, Leo, and have a good weekend.
You too. Stay warm. I know it's chilly. Chilly all over the country. We're in winter, aren't we? JC, Sherman Oaks, California. Thanks for hanging on, JC.
Thank you so much, Leo, for taking my call.
My pleasure.
So several years ago, Leo, you gave me a recommendation for an Asus router, AC3200, and it's run really, really well.
Good router, yeah.
But it's run its course. I think the Asus company is no longer supporting it. And
that makes me mad because it's not that old. You know, that just makes me mad. So one thing you can do with that router, if you want to keep it more up to date, because it's using 802.11 AC, Wi-Fi 5, it's still pretty much state of the art. Asus uses a open source router software. They call it Asus WRT, but it's based on DDWRT. So you could, if you take a look at DDWRT, it's at dd-wrt.com. You can, in fact, install it on your Asus and then keep it up to date, right? Because it's up to date because it's community supported. So it is possible to keep that up to date. But if you want a new router, I'm not going to discourage you.
Okay.
It's up to you.
That's why I was calling to see if there are any recommendations at this point. My house is 2,500 square feet.
Okay.
And like I said, this one is run well, but I think I don't know. I think I'm getting some issues.
Sure. And technology does get advanced. What also happens, and this is really the real problem with Wi-Fi, you've got more devices on there.
Right.
You've got neighbors using powerful routers interfering with it's suddenly a hostile environment for Wi-Fi. So what worked great 4 years ago may well not work well now. I generally think your house is one router might cover the whole house. Honestly, I wouldn't. I think one router maybe 2,000 square feet. So you're right on the edge of that. So you might want to take a look at one of these new mesh systems. I say new; they're not that new anymore, but they were the biggest advance in routers. The idea is you have a base unit where your Asus is, but you will then add additional units to make the weakest points in your house suddenly light up. If you think of Wi-Fi as like a lamp, right? You don't put a lamp in the living room and expect to read in the bedroom. What you do is you put another lamp in the bedroom. So that's what these mesh systems do. My favorite is Eero. It is designed to handle all of those extra IoT devices. I looked the other day, I have 71 devices on my Wi-Fi. There's only 3 of us. 71. Because we got, Echoes and, my toaster oven's on the Wi-Fi. Everything's on the Wi-Fi now. So that's what Eero is designed to do. They're more expensive because you're paying ahead. I think with your house, a single base unit and a single, what they call beacons, which is the secondary unit, would be enough. Maybe 2, and you put the base station in the middle and the 2 at the wings, that kind of thing.
Right.
But I think that would make a huge difference. So that's what I generally recommend to people. Eero has a bunch of management routines. You can pay extra $99 a year for Eero Plus, which gives you a lot of filtering. I think it's a good deal. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, it's you could go Asus, still making great routers. In fact, they even make mesh routers, and I still like Asus. But the main reason I recommended that router to you in the first place was because of DDWRT, because it was an open source.
Yeah. I just go to the website and I don't see any more. Like you said, they don't have.
They're not updating it because they want you to buy a new one. That's really not. There's no other reason than that. That's that. But if you feel like that router, are you having trouble as you get farther from the router? Is that part of it? Or?
Yeah, they're and sometimes. Well, look, I have this my internet service. They came out and they a few months ago they diagnosed some problems, big-time problems that I was having. I'm a teacher, and
well, that's good.
A teacher, and
you're teaching from home.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, so, the best thing you could do is wire where you're going to be. Is that far away from your router?
No. The problem is that both my wife is also. So then I easily wire my home computer.
That's what we did at home because my wife was working from home.
Yeah.
And our son was going to school. He's a senior in high school. Yeah. And suddenly, we needed them both wired. So I actually ran wires through the walls just to get those wired. The Eero, and your Asus does this too. You probably have 4 Ethernet ports on your Asus.
Yes.
So that means you could have 4 wired in addition to the Wi-Fi. Mm-hmm. You could do the same thing with the Eero. And it's not as many. I think they're 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. That's going to give you the best bet.
Okay.
And now somebody in the chat room, Beatmaster, who's very smart, says, There's really good firmware at asuswrt-merlin.net.
Asus.
asuswrt-merlin.net. That's designed specifically, obviously, for the Asus routers.
Okay.
You could do that and see if it helps. Okay. But honestly, Eero, that's what you want.
Is that E-U-R-O?
E-E-R-O, E-E-R-O.
Okay. Leo, thanks a bunch, man.
Well, hey, thank you for teaching.
my pleasure.
That's
not easy.
Not easy nowadays, but boy, is it important.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leo. Thank you.
All right. Take care. It's nice to talk to you.
Thank you, Leo.
All right, Scott. Sorry about that. All yours, my friend.
Hey, no problemo.
You want to try video?
Yeah,
you can if you want.
Yeah, let me give it a shot. I'm like I said, I'll restart the computer next.
Well, and it may be that, and maybe your bandwidth went downhill, or could be so many different things.
Yeah, who knows?
It immediately went south.
Really?
Yeah. Keep going. Let's see.
Wow.
But it went south right away. It started going.
All right. Wow. I mean, this computer is hardwired into the Ethernet, the router. In fact, most of the computers are, for just the reason that you were talking about. But yeah, I can see it now. It's totally frozen.
Turn off. I would turn off the video.
I'll turn it off.
Yeah.
No, turn it off. What I will do is I'll restart the computer next week and see how that goes. I was a little late today. Otherwise, I would have. I normally do. I just didn't today. I thought, it'll be all right. Well, it's not. And we don't know what the reason is, but we'll keep investigating. I'm surprised. I'm really surprised that some of your other guests have gone back to Skype, that OBS Ninja hasn't ended up working. We have all sorts of audio issues with it. Huh.
I think it must be.
It worked great with
our audio chain, but I don't know why.
Well, if anyone can figure it out, it's John. Worked great for Tuba Christmas. We used it for Tuba Christmas, and it worked really well.
Yeah, that's why I think it's probably in interaction with the way our audio works.
Well, okay then. Mike Heiss is in the chat room. Good to see you, Mike. No 4K at the Super Bowl, but they are using 130 cameras. I need that more than... what's that? Oh, I read that more than 30 of them are pylons. Would hate to be the TD. Ready, camera 78. Yeah, I guess that's true.
I don't think they ever go live to the pylon cam. They just ISO it, and then they have a recording when somebody hits the pylon or there's a disputed call. That way they can go to that. I bet you a lot of those 130 cameras are just ISO'd.
Yeah, I expect you're right. Hey, Mike, by the way, I tried to get on the there was a SMPTE Hollywood section webinar thing this week that I really wanted to attend. It was about, what's sort of predictions for the next 10 years. And I couldn't get on. It was on Zoom, and they had limited to 100 people. And by the time I logged on, it was already full. So I was bummed about that. Did you see it? I can go look at it after the fact, of course. But anyway, let's see. Edmonton Oiler guy says, for some reason, Vizio decided not to distribute their products in Canada. What? Started late 2019 and still now. Very disappointed. Boy, I would be too. Vizio's a great line, a great company. Unfortunately, I'm slightly biased against them now because a good friend of mine, on my recommendation, bought a Vizio, and he's having some problems with it, and he's trying to work them out with the company, and it's been an ongoing problem. So I'm a little sour on Vizio. I still think they're generally a very good brand, but I've kind of gone to TCL as my first go-to low-cost TV brand. Beatmaster, am I going to rewatch Babylon 5 on HBO Max? You bet. Absolutely. In fact, my wife and I we've decided we're going to watch the whole series. And we've seen up to about the middle of season 3 from the DVD. which is not that great. But the stories are so great that we're kind of, I mean, she notices now, thanks to being married to me, notices poor video quality. And I certainly notice it. But, you know, the stories are so engaging that we're sort of looking past that. But now that HBO Max has remastered Babylon 5 available, we're going to switch over to that. Absolutely. No question about it. Interestingly, they decided, and I think rightly so, to stick with 4:3 aspect ratio, which is how it was originally shot. Although the camera, the live action shots were shot in 4:3, but in a way with a consciousness of that they could be cropped to 16:9. And that's how the DVD is. The DVD is cropped 16:9. The problem is all that CGI, and they did a lot of CGI on that show, was done in 4:3, and no one has any budget to completely redo that CGI in high definition 16:9. And so they had to actually crop and expand all the CGI on the DVD into 16:9, which made it look terribly soft, really bad. So now the CGI has been upscaled to 1080p or 1080i, I guess. But anyway, that I am going to be watching it. Absolutely.
Thanks, Scott. Have a great week. Talk to you next week. Oh, hey, how are you today? This is Leo Laporte. I am your tech guy on the radio. This is where we talk about all the things happening in tech, computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smart watches. Last hour spent a long time, way too long, I'm sorry, talking about the stock market manipulations from Reddit and the hedge funds on the GameStop stock. Wow. What a story. I wish people would just go back to doing flash mobs. Wouldn't that be nice? Remember that? That's what people used to use social media for. Hey, let's all get together at the train station and do a dance and a song. Whatever happened to that? 8888 Ask Leo is the number if you want to talk high tech. 888-827-5536. Joe's been hanging on very patiently from Mission Viejo, California. You're next, Joe. Thanks for your patience.
Hey, yes, certainly. Hi, Leo.
Hey.
I've been listening to your previous calls regarding connectivity issues with Wi-Fi.
It's got very common these days, yeah.
Yeah, because, you know, who knows if your neighbors are on your Wi-Fi or not. I don't know. But I lease a modem from internet company.
Yep.
And the question is, I'm trying to stream Pandora to a Sony wireless speaker.
Yeah.
And like every other song or every third song, it would start to break up.
Ugh.
So I called the company and told them that, and they said, well, the thing that I lease is the modem is like 2.5 years old, so they sent me out a new one, and I hooked it up, and it's a lot better. But now it's like about every seventh or eighth song.
Nice. That's great. Isn't that sweet? So is it Spectrum? Who's your carrier? Cox. Okay. So yeah, a good thing to know is you don't have to use their modem. And it is often the case that the company's internet service providers hardware that they provide you is, you know, for people before you have used it. It may be older. Now, the one they sent you is probably brand new. You're probably the first one to use it. And it might be state-of-the-art. It might not be. But you should always know that you can go to the website for Cox or any carrier and see if they will allow you to use your own modem. In most cases, they will. They'll even recommend brands to buy. And one of the advantages of doing that is it probably save you money. There was a bill passed in Congress late last year that said companies can't charge you rent for your own equipment. Gee, that seems obvious, but they were doing that. They charge you rent now $5-7 a month for that modem that you're using. You could, for $100, replace it and, you know, just do a little math, and a little over a year you would pay for itself, and then you'd save money. So
I can afford that.
yeah, that might be one way to go. I would, if you're going to do that, I would look for a DOCSIS. This is the technology cable companies use, DOCSIS. The one they sent you is probably DOCSIS 3, DOCSIS 3. They now have, the latest standard is 3.1, and if I were going to buy a new modem today, I'd probably buy a DOCSIS 3.1 modem. My favorite is the Netgear. It's not too expensive. It's the CM1000, which is what I use. It's probably about $100.
Okay.
So if you, that would be one thing to try. I suspect that might be the problem, because it sounds, and you're doing it. How are you streaming? What technology are you using to stream to the speaker?
I'm streaming from my iPhone 10 or iPhone 11
via AirPlay or Bluetooth.
It's Bluetooth.
Bluetooth. Okay.
And it's Pandora that I'm streaming.
Yeah.
And I'm about 25, 30 feet.
See, you're right on the edge of the limits of Bluetooth. Bluetooth goes 10 meters, 30 feet.
Okay.
So one thing to try is put the speaker closer to the phone, or better yet, the phone closer to the speaker, because you can easily move the phone, and see if that improves it.
Yeah.
That could be part of it. And also, because it's the phone, I'm wondering if the phone is sleeping, or, you know, one of the things iPhones do to improve battery life is they're aggressive about killing background tasks. So I wonder if the iPhone is maybe pausing Pandora. Not sure.
I don't know.
Let me think about some other, this is the problem. There's so many other things. One thing that might improve the situation, your iPhone supports an Apple technology called Airplay, which is a little better than Bluetooth. So if you can, your speaker may already support, so many speakers now do support Airplay, and the new Airplay 2 is even better, is see if it can support Airplay 2. If it can, use Airplay instead of Bluetooth to do it.
Okay.
And if not, maybe look at a speaker that supports Airplay. I think you'll get better results with Airplay than you will with Bluetooth.
Yeah. Well, I've been told that maybe the speaker's going bad. I haven't used it much. It's an old Sony, it could be like from 5 to 8 years.
Oh, yeah. Well, it won't support Airplay then, although the new Sony speakers do. So that might be one solution, or you might check and see if you have some speakers that support Airplay. Airplay uses higher frequencies and goes farther. So
what do you think about putting like halfway between? I've been told you can put a device that'll boost your signal. Halfway between.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of those. You can get those. Yeah. We were talking last hour. You heard me talking about mesh. So what you're talking about is a Wi-Fi extender. So you're taking, and by the way, is Cox providing the Wi-Fi thing as well? It probably is. It's probably all in one, modem Wi-Fi, right? That's another way you might be able to improve this. If you replace their modem, you'll need to get a Wi-Fi router as well. That might by itself help. Although, since you're streaming from the iPhone to the speaker, I suspect the iPhone bandwidth is pretty good. You could try moving the iPhone closer to the Wi-Fi access point. Those extenders, I don't like them because what they do is they spend half the time talking to your iPhone and then half the time talking to the router. That means the bandwidth is cut exactly in half. So if you have, 25 megabits from Cox, you'll never get more than 12.5 on that, because the extender has to take half of the time and speaking to the router, half the time speaking to your iPhone. So Mesh doesn't do that. Mesh uses its own back channel, so it doesn't slow down the network. Mesh is more expensive. But generally, look, if you wanted to solve this and you didn't mind throwing money at it, I would get your own cable modem. The CM1000 would be a good choice, but there are plenty out there. And, of course, you want to check and make sure Cox supports that. And get your own Wi-Fi system to replace what is almost certainly a junky system that Cox has provided you with and charging you for. So that would be a good chance to go out and get an Eero. The Eero would solve it. I should mention Eero has been a sponsor. I don't know if they're currently a sponsor, actually, but they have been a sponsor in the past. I like them. You'll replace like I said, the Cox device has two functions. So you'll replace the modem function with your own modem and the Wi-Fi router with your own Eero. And then if you want to get farther throughout the house, you'll put Eeros around the house, depending on the size of the house and the places where you're having trouble. I wouldn't assume that that's what's wrong, by the way, with your setup. There's a lot of moving pieces, and so one thing is just try different things. Move the phone closer to the router, move the speaker closer to the phone, because there's a lot of pieces, a lot of moving pieces in that system. Hey, thanks for the call. I appreciate it. 8888 Ask Leo is my phone number. If you have some suggestions, it doesn't have to be questions. It can be a suggestion. 888-827-5536. And I mentioned the show notes. That's where Scott Wilkinson has put his chart of good TVs to buy for the Super Bowl. It's where answers to the questions go. That's free. There's no sign up. TechGuyLabs.com. TechGuyLabs.com. To get ready for the Giz Fizz, before I do that, though, I must indeed tell you about more educational opportunities. The Tech Guy Show today, brought to you by. You know, it's funny. We had Babbel to learn a language, and now we have Udacity, which is not just learning a language, although you could learn Perl or Python or JavaScript. In fact, that's exactly what I'm doing. But you could learn anything in tech. There are a lot of tech jobs out there. You maybe want to get one. Do you qualify enough to apply? Don't waste your valuable time and money. You got to know about Udacity. Udacity is the world's fastest, most efficient way to master the skills tech companies are looking for with nanodegrees. Udacity was started by Sebastian Thrun. He used to be at Google. He left Google. He said, there's got to be a better way to teach people. He named it Udacity. I love this because it was an audacious thing. It's like Audacity without the A, because it's audacious to say, I can get the education I need in my spare time online, but it works. It's worked for so many people. People from all over the world using Udacity. To me, this is what the internet was made to do, to democratize education. 13 million registered users, 160 plus countries, more than 1.3 million projects completed and passed, and 150,000 nanodegrees certificates earned. Let me talk about the nanodegrees. That's just one of the things that Udacity does, but it's so exciting. Because this is the kind of skill you can get to really propel you forward in tech. Udacity's Nanodegree program is unique. It's an online educational offering designed to bridge the gap between learning and your career goals. Learn a suite of employable, very important, underscore that, employable skills. This all started, I think Google did the first Nanodegree. But now Udacity partners with industry leaders in every area, experts who understand exactly which in-demand skills are applicable to the job market. IBM does nanodegrees. Microsoft does nanodegrees. AWS does nanodegrees. Of course, Google. Udacity has so many wonderful features. If you've not been to Udacity.com, I want you to go there right now. In fact, we have a very special offer I'll tell you about. Udacity.com/twit. UDACITY.com/twit. You don't just get videos. We're not talking like YouTube. You get classroom mentorship from real people who can talk to you and help you and answer questions. This is one of the things I most need when I'm learning a new technical skill. I need somebody to bounce off of, and you get that. There are moderated forums where you can go, you can ask questions, you can hang out with other learners. When you're doing a Udacity course, they're project focused. I mentioned projects. You get human project reviews, code reviews, and these nanodegrees are represented by the best companies in the business. Areas like AI. You know what's big right now? Autonomous vehicles. You could learn everything you need to get a job in the designing autonomous vehicles. Would that not be cool? The cloud computing, data science is huge there. Autonomous systems like cars, programming and development and product management and digital marketing. They've got classes in all of the above. All the tech-adjacent roles Udacity courses prepare you for. You can improve your earning potential. You can take charge of your career. You'll get real employable skills through project-based active learning that covers cutting-edge technology. And this is another thing I really appreciate about Udacity, because I will read a book or I will watch videos, and unless I'm made to actually do something with it, it doesn't sink in. But once you do it at Udacity, you're going to have a project, a human review, step by step. You really will get the experience. You will have done it. Projects are reviewed by qualified professionals in the field. You get real human help. You get personalized code reviews. As I mentioned, it's all over the world. So you can get qualified mentors and access to them any time of the day or night. Now, why, you say, would that be important? Well, so many people at Udacity right now have day jobs, but they want to learn more. They have a questing spirit. They want to get a better job. They want to get ahead. So you can do this in your own time, at night, whatever is convenient for you, in the morning, any time that works for you. They have free courses if you just want. In fact, I would recommend check out the free courses, because this will give you some idea of what Udacity can offer. But I have to say, we have such a good deal on the paid courses, you might want to even start with that. That's what I'm doing. Actually, I've been a Udacity member. I started taking courses at Udacity in 2012 when I think they had just started. I was looking back at the courses, like basic computer science courses, things like that. Python, we've got great Python courses. JavaScript. Flexible payment options. You can learn at your own pace and schedule. And let me tell you a success story, because this warms my heart. This is what, to me, this is what the best of the internet can offer. I found this on the website. There's a guy, his name is Francisco Gutierrez. He wanted a better life. He's a smart guy. Couldn't get ahead because he didn't have the skills. He couldn't afford a 4-year degree at college. He went to community college, took some courses there, but he never got the jobs he wanted. Those community college courses didn't translate into job skills. And that's what's different about Udacity. They're focused on job skills that they know their partners need in employees. That's why companies like Microsoft and Google partner with Udacity, because they need skilled employees. They're being very proactive. So Francisco didn't have a lot of money. He participated in the Grow with Google Udacity Challenge. Impressed people. He got a full scholarship for the Mobile Web Specialist Nanodegree. That's one of the many nanodegrees, Mobile Web Specialist. Step by step, he worked it. He kept his day job, but he worked at night. He got through it. He got the nanodegree. He got an internship at Microsoft. Then they offered him a full-time role. He is now a full-time software engineer at Microsoft. And that's really thanks to, let's give him credit. His ambition, his desire, his brains, but also he needed those special tools that only Udacity could offer. Technology is changing our industry. That's what I talk about all the time. Udacity for Enterprise is available to businesses. If you want to upskill your workforce, you can. I think this is a great thing to offer as a business. We do that. I think it's so important to tell your employees, we believe you. We want in you. We want to invest in you. Get a nanodegree at Udacity. We'll pay for it. You'll get the skills. We'll get the benefit. It's a wonderful thing. Check out Udacity for Enterprise. There's a lot there. If you go to udacity.com/twit, they can help you. For instance, a lot of people get tech jobs. Their GitHub portfolio is a very important way that a tech company can take a look at what you do. They will help you polish that, or your LinkedIn portfolio, your resume. They can help in so many ways. You can even get a job with Udacity. They're looking for mentors. That's once you go through a Udacity course and you want to help other people, that would be a great thing to do. Education broadens your horizons. It broadens your opportunities, and that's what Udacity is all about. And I am really proud to support them. Go to udacity.com/twit, UDACITY.com/twit. And here's the deal I was talking to you about. Right now, 50% off. It's half off. Half off. And that's only through the end of May, though, so don't wait. You got to use the coupon code TWIT. That would you know what? If you go to the website, you'll see you can get half off other ways. Please use the coupon code TWIT so they know you saw it on the Tech Guy. That will help us, and it'll help you half off. It'll be applied at checkout. Udacity.com/twit, coupon code TWIT. Do me a favor. Let me know which Udacity course, which nanodegree you're taking. I'd love to hear from you. I haven't decided what my next course is going to be, so I'm also interested in what people are doing. Udacity, so inspiring. Udacity.com/twit. And don't forget that coupon code TWIT for 50% off. Thank you, Udacity, for supporting the Tech Guy. And now back to the show. Waka waka, waka waka top pop, waka waka waka. Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy, the funky Tech Guy. Thanks to Professor Laura, our musical director. Dave's on the line from Diamond Bar, California. Hi, Dave.
Hey, Leo. I love listening to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm a Disneyland engineer that's been laid off, I don't know, pretty long now.
I'm sorry. That sucks.
I have DirecTV, and it's $150 a month, and I'm looking at these indoor antennas for picking up airwaves or outdoor
So the
antennas.
first thing I would suggest, because money's tight, is looking at Locast. LOCAST. Yeah. That's free. I mean, if you really... if you want to get rid of the nags, because they'll nag you a little bit, $5 a month.
That's doing.
That gives you, in your area, it'll give you all the live locals, right? All the LA stations. You have to look, folks, for those of you who are interested in this, go to locast.org and see where you can get it and what stations you'll get it. They have a map. But in the LA area, you can get all your locals. It works on your computer, your Apple TV, your Roku, your Fire TV, any of your devices.
Yeah, I have Roku.
I think that'd be a good start. Now, if you say, I want more capabilities, for instance, I want a DVR or I want Showtime or HBO or sports and that kind of thing, this is, Locast is just locals. Actually, it's not just locals. They have other stuff, too. Look at it and you can see the TV guide and what they have. They have a lot of interesting kind of little stations like Laugh and Cozy, but it's not gonna be close to your DirecTV. If you want a little more, maybe a DVR for $65 a month. Now we're starting to get into real money. You can get YouTube TV, which is my favorite of all the This is called over the top. You're getting it via the internet instead of via satellite or cable. Now you're going to be paying for your internet too, so that's something to keep in mind in the total cost. YouTube TV has a DVR. You can share it with 5 people in your family, and so you get 6 DVRs, things like that are it's kind of cool. But that's a lot of money. Started low and then went high as the time went by. I think Locast is the best deal out there. Then there's some other kind of low cost ways to add more content. Pluto TV is free. Pluto.tv.
All right.
That's owned by Viacom CBS. Peacock is in some cases free. That's the NBC choice. You can, I think, for pretty low dollar, put together at least a lot of content, whether it'll be the content you want to watch. It may vary.
Like sports, I might miss some sports and stuff like that.
I think with Locast, you're going to get the Super Bowl, for instance. You're going to get, there's going to be some good choices. So I would look at Pluto TV, Peacock, and Locast as a way to kind of get a fairly wide range of choices for free. And then, of course, there are some upcharges if you want to get rid of the things bugging you and stuff like that. There's Fubo. Somebody's recommending Fubo TV, Fubo. I don't know if they have a free tier. I think it's for.
What about Hulu?
Hulu, yeah, same thing. Hulu is going to give you over-the-top they have 3 different pricing tiers. The lowest tiers, you still get ads. But if you have an antenna, you're getting ads. If you're DirecTV, you're getting ads. So yeah, Hulu's something to look at. Hulu does start to have, has locals as well as some streaming stuff, as well as, on demand. A lot of the network programming's on there on demand. So I think this is a good time to be shopping around for these streaming networks. And then you probably want to keep on it because a lot of them are going to change their pricing, like YouTube TV. Just, started at 40, then it was 50, 55, now 65. You got to watch that.
Like DirecTV.
Yeah, it's just like DirecTV. And these guys, what they do is they blame the locals. They say, well, the locals are charging us, so we got to, pass along that cost. That's probably true, but it doesn't help. It doesn't help with your budgeting. So, are you looking for work, or what are you doing?
Well, I kind of am. I'm on furlough, so one thing nice, they're paying for my insurance. And
that's good.
And they put our house payments at the end. So,
good.
And my kids are both working, which is nice.
Nice.
I'm glad my children are working. I'm an adult. I'm getting raised for retirement, actually. So I'm just hanging on for like 5 or 6 more years.
Was it COVID, or were they just outsourcing your job?
No, it's COVID.
COVID.
Disneyland has been closed.
It's shut down.
Yeah, right. And there's rumors maybe in spring, we get vaccination going on. But
boy, I'm hopeful.
Anything.
So with furlough, then there is a somewhat of a promise that, once things get back to normal, we'll bring you back.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I got a raise during this, which is pretty ironic.
Well, good for them. They should take care of you, I know it's tough for everybody, but they should take care of you because they're going to need you when the park opens.
I think so. I think it's going to be, when things happen, it's going to be booming there again. So
it's going to be more than booming. My prediction is once this is over, it's going to be like the Roaring 20s. Your park's going to be full all the time.
Yeah, I hope so. But until then, I got to do something financially.
Yeah, of course.
The cable is just a waste of money.
I completely agree with you. It's shocking, really, when you see as the price goes up and up and up. So the good news is there's some good choices that won't cost you much. And Hulu, Netflix, there are HBO Max, Disney Plus. All of these are monthly fee. And you should, if I had little kids, I'd probably get Disney Plus. It just depends on what you need.
I do have Disney. I do have Netflix. So I do have everything. But I'm just old school and like watching ABC News and
Lowcast. Lowcast until they get put out of business, which I fear might be imminent. But until they get put out of business, that's a great way to go.
Wow. Well, thank you, Leo. You've really been helpful.
My pleasure.
Because I was looking at YouTube on these antenna TVs, and I don't know if your location, if you have to have one for your bedrooms or whatever.
Well, if you go to tvfool.com, you can enter in your exact location. It'll tell you what kind of antenna you need. You're close enough. You probably could get, antenna television. But go to tvfool.com and enter in your zip and your address, and they will tell you exactly what you can get. Hang in there. The light is at the end of the tunnel. Man, for those of us who are still working, it's easy to kind of close your eyes and pretend everything's okay. But it's hard also, if you're at all sensitive, not to just feel the low current of pain that's going on right now. And I just feel it, man. And I just hang in there, everybody. We all got to stick together. We're going to get through this. It's tough. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. What'd you say, John? What'd you say? Listen.
I said I've been nowhere.
He's going nowhere, man. Going nowhere fast. Johnny Jet is our travel guru. You might ask, Leo, you might say, why are you still doing travel when nobody's supposed to go anywhere? Well, there's lots of travel news. We're trying to keep up with what's going on, and Johnny Jet's the guy to do it. JohnnyJet.com. His newsletter's free. It's actually several of them. There's JohnnyJet.com/newsletter, JohnnyJet.com/podcast. He's on Instagram and he's on Twitter and he's also on YouTube with his 39 Questions YouTube series. 39 questions of people who love to travel like me. Hi, Johnny Jet.
Hello. I just interviewed someone recently about, an American living in New Zealand. What's it like during COVID? And that's one of my most popular videos as of late. But
we're all imagining what it would be like. I just saw a picture of an exhibition in Australia, tennis exhibition in Australia. I think it was in Adelaide, where no masks because they haven't had a case of COVID in months, weeks, something. And so everybody's able to do that. And I'm just thinking someday.
Yeah, they go to dinner, they go to the movies. It's just like normal because they did the hard stuff in the beginning. They had a big time lockdown, closed the borders, and you can't get in. I mean, we can't go if we wanted to, but if you were a Kiwi or Aussie and wanted to get back, even Aussies can't get in Australia right now. There's a waiting list of 30,000 people. Yeah. Because they're only taking so many a week. And once you arrive, you have to quarantine in a government hotel that they run. It's a nice hotel, but they're taking over and you're guarded. And actually Canada just announced yesterday that they're going to start doing this. So Canada has just basically put a kibosh to international travel. So starting, I think, tomorrow or February 1st, Mexico and Caribbean has just been canceled from Canada, period. I mean, all the airlines have just stopped. They're going to continue flying there to pick people up and bring them back. But if you're not back in a certain time, you're going to have to quarantine in a hotel at your own expense for 3 days because they're going to give you a PCR test when you land. And then you still have to quarantine at home. And this time they're going to watch you. So they say. So they're really getting tough on it because they're worried about this new South African strain and other ones. So that's the killer. I mean, international travel is just getting crushed. Also, the new rule that came into effect in America on Tuesday, which is now every single traveler that comes into America, including if you're American, you have to have a negative PCR test, or not PCR, a negative COVID-19 test. Some of them are antigen in the last 3 days.
Good.
So.
That seems fair. I was watching TV. I saw the director of the CDC. The new director, she says, this is not a good time to travel. Unless you Dr. Fauci said it too. Unless you absolutely have to travel, this is not a good time. Don't travel. Stay home.
Well, they're actually talking about having people have to have a negative COVID-19 test on domestic flights. But all the airlines, everyone's hoping that they do not do that because that will just really put a crush on it. But now, like the Oakland airport just started has a new vending machine that's selling home tests
in a vending machine.
COVID-19.
How much?
In the vending machine. It's $150 a pop, and it's really for incoming travelers, not outgoing, because although Delta, by the way, announced yesterday saying that they're going to start selling these home kits for international travel because they're trying to keep their travels going.
Yeah. But
they haven't made an announcement on how much it's going to cost.
That's part of the problem is there's this ambivalence. There has been all along. On the one hand, the best thing to do would be everybody is stay home. On the other hand, boy, we can't really afford to shut down.
Right.
They kind of want people to travel, don't they?
Oh, well, for sure the airlines do. I mean,
everybody does.
Make no mistake. Yeah. But sort of the hotels, obviously. So actually the resorts, a lot of resorts in Mexico and the Caribbean are now offering COVID-19 tests at the resort. Some of them are for free. Some of them will even let you quarantine for free up to 2 weeks if you test positive, but some won't. And actually, and the ones like for Canadians, it's going to cost extra because they want a PCR test. But if you are going to travel, hopefully it's only if you have to, but if you are going to travel, make sure you read all the fine print at whatever resort you're going to. But I just think that the U.S., like Puerto Rico and U.S. Virgin Islands, are really going to see an uptick in visitors because no one's going to want to deal with these or the cost of having these tests in foreign countries. So I think that a lot of the U.S. islands, including Guam, because they're exempt. They're going to see an uptick especially when this is all done, or actually not even done, because actually Canada says it's going to be April 30th until they reopen up Mexico and the Caribbean destinations.
Why Mexico and the Caribbean specifically? Why just those two places?
I think that's where most people are going right now, because you can't go to Europe.
You want to go somewhere warm, and you can't go to Europe.
You can't even go to. Yeah, that's where they want to go.
Okay.
So, but speaking of places warm, Southwest Airlines just added a new route, Long Beach to Maui, and right now fares are $99.
Wow!
That was
cost you less than getting the test.
Well, they don't start till March 11th, and that's probably going to be pushed back, I believe. But a lot of these airlines are announcing new routes. And by the way, Southwest was notorious for only launching one route a year. They've launched 12 new ones in the last few months. So they're really expanding. I mean, they're taking advantage of it. They're actually, even out of Santa Barbara, they're going to start flying 737s to Las Vegas, Oakland, I think Denver.
Do you think that's because airports so desperate for business have reduced the fee for using the airport? Why are they expanding their routes? No one's using them.
That's a good question. I think they have some money, although they just posted their first loss.
Why do they even have money? Where are they getting money from? The government.
Well, a lot of them are getting their money from the government.
The government. Spend that government money quick.
The 6 largest U.S. airlines lost a combined $35 billion last year. And American Airlines alone lost $2.2 billion in the fourth quarter.
Yikes.
But get this, they were losing American was losing $100 million a day back in April.
And of course,
now they got it down to $30 million.
No one wants them to fail. We need the airlines, not just for moving people, but for moving everything else. Right. So they kind of know they're too big to fail. Boy. Oof.
Most airlines are betting that it's going to come back in mid-April.
That's not coming back in mid-April? What?
I don't think so. But they're betting on it. And so, but I actually just booked some tickets yesterday. I went on to American Airlines and booked, using my miles, a bunch of tickets for the summer, because I want to, whenever there's a really good deal, and you can do a really good search on their website, by the way, do the calendar search, whatever class of service you want to fly. So I was looking for business class tickets to fly LA to New York, and I was finding them for 20,000 miles each way, which that's how much it would cost for a coach ticket a year ago.
But these are refundable, right? There's no risk.
Totally refundable.
That's the nice thing. There's no risk on this.
All your money, the taxes back. So
right.
I advise
take your money out of GameStop, put it into airline tickets.
Start booking now, because as long as you can get it fully refundable, because once it does bounce back, like you said right before we came into this segment, travel is going to be like the roaring 20s. Boom. Everyone wants to go see their loved ones, including me.
Yeah.
So
I'm staying home. I don't feel like it's safe to travel yet, and I don't think April going to be safe either. I think it's going to be a little longer, but I'll just wait. Double mask, stay home, stay safe.
Triple mask, some people are saying now.
Triple.
I mean, that's what some people are saying.
If you can breathe, okay, I guess.
Yeah. But New York City's opening up dining on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, they just opened dining out. You have to be outside, but they just opened it up here in Petaluma. Johnny Jet, our travel guru, 8888 Ask Leo, my phone number. Don't forget, you can find Johnny at johnnyjet.com. His newsletters, his podcasts, and his YouTube channel is at youtube.com/JohnnyJet. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Let's go back to the phones. We got some more callers coming up right after this. If you can't travel, just graze in the grass. Just hang out. Enjoy. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo, the... Oh, this is not grazing in the grass. It sounded like that. It's a Spanish cover. Oh, I like it. Yeah, you can't mistake that horn. That horn riff. Abel from Fontana, California, our next caller. Hello, Abel.
Hey, Leo. Thanks for taking my call. How are you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you. I had a question about this Ring products. I bought 2 Ring Spotlight cameras, and they use the batteries that you have to charge.
Yes.
I've been looking at the solar. Well, it's real windy out here, so it triggers the motion constantly.
Yeah, that's a problem, isn't it? You could turn the threshold down, but yeah, if it's real windy, you're going to be constant, which means the battery's going to die real quick.
Right. So I've been looking at these solar panels that you can connect to the back of the apparatus for the camera.
They'd have to be pretty big to generate enough juice to keep those things running, especially if they're on a lot.
So should I go with a hardwired?
If you can, that's always the best way to go. Yeah. Let me ask though in the chat room if anybody's using the solar panels on the Ring cameras, and if they're able to. Obviously, you're not going to get continuous operation, but Dr. Mom says she uses solar panels. If you get 6 hours of direct sunlight a day, you should be good. But again, your mileage is going to vary. As always, with anything that's motion triggered, if it's always being triggered by branches moving and things, that's going to really affect how performant it is. So I think in a normal situation, yeah, the solar might be enough. But it sounds like your situation is pretty challenging. Is the camera on almost all the time?
Yes, there's always something turning it on, whether it's a cat or wind.
Yeah. Is it attached to the house, or is it out farther from the house? In other words, is it easy to get power to it?
Yes, there's an outlet nearby, about 2 feet away.
Yeah. So I use Nest cameras. Ring makes them too, but I use Nest cameras that are plugged into the outlet, the outdoor outlet, and then there's never an issue, except for, of course, they use a lot of bandwidth. Because if your camera's always on, you're talking a megabit or more while it's on. So it's always using a lot of bandwidth.
So should I upgrade my internet as well?
Well, I don't know. How is it working?
Works great.
As you add cameras, you may end up having to upgrade the internet. How many cameras do you have right now?
2 Spotlight ones.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fine. And so is the light constantly turning on?
No, but I'll get notifications and...
Yeah, something's moving. Something's moving. Yeah.
Something, and I don't see anything.
Yeah. The Spotlight, of course, is gonna to use the light, you really do want to plug it in, because that thing will drain a battery quick. It's bright.
Yeah.
Even an LED Spotlight, which those are, it's going to use some juice. I don't know. I like wired because then I don't have to ever think about it. So, but Ring has always sold these solar panels, and I presume they're enough in normal circumstances. You get a lot of sunlight?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a good start. Maybe it is enough. What's happening now? Do you run out of juice at the end of the day, or?
About a week, maybe 4 days.
A week. Okay. And they say 3 months, right? Normal use is something like 3 months, right?
Well, they said at the tech store that the batteries would last a month.
A month.
And that's not even.
So, okay, so you're getting a quarter of the normal amount. Yeah, I think, try solar. It might get you to 2 weeks, which might be worth it, right?
Yeah.
If it helps, let me look at I'm looking at the Ring support page. If you get 31 motion events a day or more, do you think that's accurate?
Sounds about right. Maybe more.
Maybe more. That's as high as they go. In a sunny environment where you're getting 5 to 6.4 kilowatt hours per square meter per day, I don't know if you know that. They say the 5-watt. In fact, you should probably get the 5-watt super solar panel. So they do make a 2-watt and a 5-watt. You absolutely should get the 5-watt.
I've seen those, and I've seen some aftermarket products for solar.
Even more? Yeah. So even more might be even better. I mean, if your goal, here's what I'm saying. You're still going to have to charge the battery. You just may not have to charge it as much. If you get an even bigger one, your goal would be, right, if I get sun all day, maybe I don't ever have to charge the battery. Maybe it just charges itself up all the time. That would be awesome.
That'd be ideal.
Yeah. How much more are the bigger solar panels?
I see some for about $44, and if you go a little bigger, then they can go up to $54.
That's not bad.
$70.
That's not bad. So that's the calculus is, well, is it worth me going, unplugging the camera, plugging it in the wall, charging it up, bringing it back out, plugging it in? Is it worth $50 not to have to do that? Probably. I would guess. But that's...
The next camera is definitely going to be hardwired.
Yeah. I like hardwired. I think especially for your environment where there's a lot of motion, so it's getting triggered all the time. Because mine are hardwired, I can keep my Nest cameras on all the time. I can look at them at any time of the day or night, and that's nice. I still get the motion alerts. You still get all the alerts you would get, but the camera's always on, and this is an additional cost because you have to pay, in this case, Nest for storage. They're always recording, so I can go back. I like that feature. I can go back in time and say, what happened at 4 a.m. when I heard that big crash? And I can go back and see what happened exactly. That's very handy. Wow. And that's something only a wired camera is going to give you that, because a battery camera, they only turn on when there's motion.
There you go.
Somebody drove over our, we have one of those outdoor rural route mailboxes. Somebody drove over it while we were on vacation. And I was able to go back and see who did it. Watch the whole thing happen. That's probably worth the extra money. So yeah, get plug in if you can. What you should look at, by the way, you could actually save money by going to WYZE.com. The Wise cameras. They have outdoor cameras, they have indoor cameras, they have pan, tilt, and zoom cameras. Their outdoor camera is $50. Actually, $50 for the starter bundle, which includes the base station and then the camera. Those are still battery powered though, so maybe that's not the solution you want. Come to think of it, I wonder, do they have wired? Wise has done such an amazing job. The indoor cameras are wired, but not the I guess not the outdoor cameras. But they've done, yeah. If you point it through a window, that's okay. They've done such a great job at really bringing the price down. In fact, watch, because, for instance, Ring just announced a Ring doorbell at $60, and I think that's pressure from the Wise Video doorbell, because they're selling it for half that price, $30. So I think what's happened, which is great. Thank you, Wise, a little company up in Seattle, WYZE.com. They have put a lot of pressure on the market. For a long time, I think Ring and Nest, the two big companies, have been overcharging for their stuff. And Wise has basically done very well by saying, you know what, we can charge you half that and still get a great camera. 8888 out. Oh, the Wise Outdoor is wired. I'm sorry. So they have wired and unwired, I guess. Wired and battery. 8888 Ask Leo. That's the phone number. Thank you, chat room. Chat room always on top of these things. Thank you for keeping me honest. Well, hey, how are you today? Leo Laporte here, the tech guy. Time to talk computers, the internet, home theater, digital photography, smartphones, smart watches, all that jazz. If you're just tuning in, I spent way too long explaining what's going on with the stock market and GameStop and the Reddit Wall Street bets and all of that stuff. That's, to me, a fascinating example of how social media and big tech is kind of invading the world we think of as the normal world. It's all the normal world now, isn't it? We are really in uncharted waters. That's what I would say. And it's only going to get crazier. I think. I do. The power of social media to create online groups that can then act in the real world is just now being tested. And Facebook and Twitter and Reddit and Discord and Telegram and WhatsApp have weaponized these mobs in unusual, sometimes positive, often negative ways. And I think it's just beginning. And I don't see any way to stop it. So fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy ride. John on the line from St. Petersburg, Florida. Hello, John. Leo Laporte, the tech guy.
Hey, Leo. Good to talk to you.
Nice to talk to you. Thanks for calling.
I got two quick ones for you.
Yes, sir.
I called in a few months ago and asked you about setting up. I have a domain that I bought, and I was asking you about how to set up email for free to that domain.
Okay.
And change the MX records and all that, and that went smoothly.
I'm impressed. That's an advanced tip. Good. Well done. Bravo.
It was like magic. The email came through, and I was very excited.
I know. It's this is the thing. Sometimes people get like overwhelmed and threatened by the technical stuff, but it's almost just a recipe. If you follow it step by step and it works, man, it's empowering, isn't it?
It was fun.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So I have two follow-up questions, some things I was confused about. So were you saying that, like, I can use my name and send it to my name at that domain, that I could also add other names and have those go out to different emails?
Yeah. Wild card. Different emails. Okay. So you can set it up, and this is going to depend a lot on how your email company works and how you've set up the DNS records, etc. In short, I'll just tell everybody what John did is he bought a domain name. You can go to lots of places. GoDaddy's the biggest, but you can go to lots of places and buy a domain name. One of the things that'll happen when you buy john.com is GoDaddy will say, we could host your email. And I told John, don't do that, because that you pay for, right? They become an email company. You can use many different places as your email company, including Google for free, Yahoo for free, and Microsoft Outlook for free. So you can always say, I got john.com, and then with a little, and this is a little more technical, but with a little DNS kung fu, you can say, when mail comes to john.com, send it off to that free email address. And you did, and magically it's appearing. Now, this is somewhat going to depend on your provider, but you could have Mary, Fred, and Joe at john.com as well. And initially what will happen, it'll all go into your inbox. You'll get it. In other words, anything at john.com will go to you. You could then filter it, and if you want, there's a couple of ways to handle this. If your friends, Mary, Joe, and Bob, don't mind you seeing their email, you could have your email program, you could have Yahoo, just forward it along. Just write a filter that says, if it comes to John Bob at john.com, send it to Bob at yahoo.com instead. So that's the easiest way to do it, but not very private, because it's gonna go through your inbox. You won't actually see it because it'll bounce right away. But there's always the potential from you seeing it, and Bob may not like that. So, but if you're working with family members who don't mind, that's the easiest thing to do. The better way to do it is you can, and this is going to require, it's kind of going to depend on your mail provider, and you might be able to do this in DNS. For instance, I use hover.com, and I can tell Hover to forward anything that comes to Bob at john.com to bob at yahoo.com. I never even see it. Now this might be beyond my ken. This might be an MX record. There might be other ways to do this. I suspect you could do it in DNS. So where did you get your domain?
I got it at Namecheap, and right now I'm having it go to a Gmail account.
Okay. So I would look at Namecheap about something called email forwarding. They may have a way of doing that. I don't know if you can do it with an MX record. You might be able to. You might be say, if it goes to bob at john.com, go to bob at yahoo.com. I suspect there is a way to do that. I just don't know.
Okay.
What I use a mail server at Fastmail, and I let them handle the DNS, and they have a way of doing that automatically. So I have a family email address that everybody in my family gets their first name at Laporte.com. It's actually not Laporte.com, but you get the idea. And so I don't ever see it. It just automatically goes to those various accounts.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for explaining that. I think I got it.
Does that kind of make sense? I'm going to put, there is a name, Scooter X has found Namecheap's how to set up free email forwarding page. We'll put that in the show notes, and you can see. I suspect, in fact, it looks, as I look at it, it looks like Namecheap has a way of doing that. You can add as many forwarders as you want.
Okay, yeah, and then the main purpose of the last call on this one was to see what I can do for free, because of course there's all these other ways to do it when you pay. So that's good.
It looks like you get 8 for free, and then if you're willing to pay, you can get even more, up to 100 forwarding email addresses on the basic DNS, premium DNS, and free DNS name servers. So Namecheap does look like you can do that.
Okay, and I'm thinking I might be out of luck here, but is there any way to send mail from that for free?
No. So to send mail, somebody has to run an SMTP server. Now, the good news is Google does, smtp.gmail.com. The way Google does it, though, to prevent spammers from misusing their service is you have to use a logged-in Google account to send that email. So, in other words, it's going to come from your Gmail account. So what you're going to look for is someone to provide an SMTP server. That's the Simple Mail Transport Protocol. That's how mail gets sent. A lot of companies will let you use SMTP for free, but because spam, it used to be everybody would do it. Your internet service provider, for instance. But since spammers are so nasty, this is why we can't have nice things. Humans are terrible. They're both wonderful and they're terrible. And so as soon as people discovered, I can use an open SMTP server to send millions of spam messages for free, they did, and then all of that stuff had to go away. So generally, you have to somehow authenticate with an SMTP server. But I bet you can.
Do you have a recommendation maybe of if I wanted to send mail, what I should do?
Well, you can use Google. You can use your Google account. And Google will let you create aliases, so it doesn't have to come from your actual Google account. You can use the Google SMTP. You just have to be logged in through a Google account, and then you can use an alias to have it be coming from a different address.
So if it's my own domain,
So I'm Laporte at gmail.com, but I can send email from Leo at laporte.com through that SMTP server as long as I'm logged into it.
Okay. So I can add in my Gmail account, instead of add Gmail, I can add that domain and send from.
And somebody's telling me there's a thing called forwardmail.net that does domain aliases for free, so that might be. But that's what you need. You need an outbound email server, also known as an SMTP server, to do that.
Okay. Yeah, because I was just noticing, the magic happened where I got the email. It came to me.
But now you want to send it from that address. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Use aliases at Gmail, and you can do it.
Okay.
Look in the Gmail settings at aliases. That's the whole idea is you send email that's coming not from your Gmail address, but from some other address. That's exactly how I do it, or used to. I don't use Gmail anymore. Ultimately, someday we'll do this. Not right now. I think ultimately it's a mistake in the long run for us to use free email. Email's important enough that it's probably worth spending $10 a year to have a paid email company. Everything's going to be better. They're not going to try to advertise to you. There's just going to be so many advantages to that. So this is my new campaign. Pay for your email, dang it. Don't get me started. Whoo, yeah. Leo Laporte. The tech guy. 8888 Ask Leo. The phone number. Nicole is on the line from Laguna Niguel. Hello, Nicole.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Very good. What's up?
So I had a question mainly about gaming laptops, and I wanted your advice on the best gaming laptop out there for mainly streaming on apps like Twitch, and also being able to use it for video editing and photography, just like an all-in-one.
That's powerful. We're talking, you need a lot of power here. Are you going to do a Twitch? Are you just going to watch Twitch, or are you going to do a Twitch channel?
I would want to do a Twitch channel.
Oh, boy. Okay, so you're going to use OBS probably to do the streaming, open broadcaster software. That's what I think most people on Twitch use it. And you need a camera, and you'll be in a little box. What game are you going to play?
Mainly Fortnite.
Nice. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm pretty good.
Oh, man. Tell me about your costume. What do you wear?
I have a lot of costumes, actually.
That's where they make their money, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's all right. It's part of the fun. You have some good dance moves, too?
Yeah, a couple.
Well, that's good. So, okay. So just for everybody to understand, Twitch.com is a place where people stream video. We stream our video at Twitch, for instance. Actually, it's twitch.tv, not twitch.com, twitch.tv. We stream our video there. But if you go there, you'll see mostly it's people playing games. And you play along, you watch. And sometimes the games are Fortnite. A lot of times the games are Fortnite. Sometimes it's chess. It's all kinds of stuff. So that's kind of fun. And there's a chat. A lot of people, I know people make a good living doing that. So it's a pretty cool thing. Have you ever done it before, or is this your first time, Nicole?
It would be my first time.
Yeah. So you're kind of, there's a whole lot of stuff you're gonna have to figure out. But we want to start with a good computer, and you need a computer that can both run the OBS streaming software and the game, right, at the same time. That means a lot of memory, a lot of processor, and you're on a great GPU. Do you have a budget?
I'd say about like 2,000.
Oh, that's good. All right.
500.
Oh, good. You're good. Okay. When people call and say, I want to do it for $250, I go, well, you can't. No, sorry. Yeah, you should be able to get a very nice gaming machine for $2,000. I would say go with an AMD processor, not an Intel processor, because you're going to get more bang for your buck, frankly. Good luck getting the latest NVIDIA graphics cards. They're just not, you can't. It's crazy. But you can get, a decent older one that'll be plenty. You don't have to get the latest RTX 30 series or anything like that. But you're going to need a good graphics card. You're going to want, I would say you're going to want 32 gigs of RAM, because you have to run everything all at once in the RAM, right? So it means your OBS, your Fortnite, your camera software, all of that stuff's going to all be running at the same time. So I take a look at a Ryzen processor from AMD. Chumley's saying you can get the 3060, so maybe you can get some 30 series. The 3080 and 3090, forget it. Yeah, you just forget it. But you can get 3060, which would be plenty, by the way. Plenty. Get the titanium, the TIs, right? You're also going to want probably a gaming keyboard and a gaming mouse because, well, you already have that, I bet, if you're any good at Fortnite. Do you play Fortnite on a PC?
Honestly, I played on the Nintendo Switch.
Okay, so you don't yet have that PC gamer setup. But PC gamers always have an advantage on this stuff because they customize the mouse. They have 18 buttons on the mouse. They customize the keyboard. So, look at Razer, R-A-Z-E-R. That's a good gaming company. They make good mice and keyboards. Good monitor. You're going to want a large monitor because you're going to want to be able to see the chat at the same time as you're playing Fortnite, right? So you're going to have, it gets complicated. I would bet there are a lot of really good websites and maybe even YouTubers who will say, how to build your first streaming rig, that kind of thing. You didn't say laptop, did you?
Well, I am pretty mobile, so I'm thinking of laptop.
Okay, that changes everything I just told you because you usually can't get this stuff in laptops. I was building you a desktop. Yeah, laptop, there's good choices out there. Alienware, which is a Dell brand, they sell some nice gaming laptops. Yeah, that'd be fine. Look, there are plenty of people doing it on laptops. That's not a problem. You can do that.
Okay.
I'm excited for you. Are you excited?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited.
We got my son a Asus ROG, Republic of Gamers. They make really nice, I got him a desktop, but they also make nice laptops too. The rog.asus.com. Very good gaming stuff. And they look pretty darn cool too. You're going to have a lot of fun.
Yep, thank you.
Yeah. See, I play on the Switch, but I play Animal Crossing. I'm not, Don't laugh at me. You're laughing at me, aren't you? You can come visit my island anytime.
Oh,
I'm actually hooked on Animal Crossing. Thank you, Nicole. Have fun. Good luck. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Yeah, that's what we got, Michael's at ROG. And I do think they're really nice. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. 88 Ask Leo. 888-827-5536. We're going to get disco-y in a bit. This is just like a little pre-taste of disco because Dick DeBartolo, Mad's Maddest Writer's coming up. He's got our gizmo of the week. Lady Laura, you told me to watch that Bee Gees documentary. Was that on Netflix? HBO Max. Yeah, that's what it was. HBO Max. Boy, was that good. It made me love disco again. You know, I was that DJ in the disco era who had to play the Bee Gees 5 times an hour. So I got really sick of it, you know. They showed Steve Dahl, I actually know Steve, a Chicago DJ who had the infamous Disco Sucks rally at Comiskey Park in Chicago where they blew up people's disco records. They showed him, and I was kind of in that camp at that time. But now, thanks to you, Lady Laura, I'm liking disco again. It's happy music. It's okay. It's okay to dance. It's okay to be happy, especially now. We need happy music, right? How can you mend a broken heart? What's great about the Bee Gees in that documentary, highly recommended, they had really 2 careers. They had their first career, then they broke up and went their separate ways, and then they came back. And then thanks to Saturday Night Fever, had a whole second shot at it. It was just good. I agree with you. Thank you for recommending that. I really enjoyed it. Matt's on the line. He's saying, stop talking, Leo. I have a question. Thank you for being patient, Matt, from Pasadena. What can I do for you?
Oh, hi, Leo. Thanks
hey, Matt.
For my call.
Thanks for calling.
Yeah, my question was to... I'm looking to be a digital nomad here, of course, after vaccinations and when the dust settles. And my question is for my work laptop, I'm all set. I have a docking station, 2 monitors. Actually, I have a suitcase that'll carry the 2 monitors.
Wow.
Yeah, so I've been really preparing for this. And what I want to do is keep my work laptop totally separate of my, personal use.
Yes.
As far as web browsing, emails, and so forth. And so I will have, say I'm renting a condo in Puerto Rico or somewhere. My work laptop's all set. I got the docking station, 2 monitors, keyboard.
Yeah, you got a pretty fancy setup. There's plenty of people who would just be using a Chromebook on the terrace. So, what is your work?
Yeah, well, that's kind of leads into it. I work for a large insurance company, and I'm an underwriter, and I deal in a lot of volume. So I'm clicking quite a bit via.
So your biggest challenge is going to be internet access, bandwidth.
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely correct.
Yeah.
And I normally don't. I won't take my laptop to Starbucks, and I really, when I work or even do my personal computing, I'm on monitors sitting.
You need, you're like a day trader or anybody. You need a lot of screen real estate so you can see those listings and all the information you need in a glance. So I understand that. So you're going to carry 2 monitors with you. You need that. I got it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the docking station. So I was thinking, looking at these mini PCs where, I could easily just plug in
absolutely
my mini PC into the docking
absolutely station. The last thing you need to bring with you is a big honking PC. But the good news, and the thing you want to look at is in what's called Intel NUC, N-U-C. Intel's new unit of computing, they call it. These are small form factors PC, they're not very big, but they carry, they're very powerful. You can get 64 gigs of RAM, you can get an i9 processor, you can get SSDs, and then on the back they have all the connectivity in the world. Now, Intel's not the only company that makes these. They kind of introduced the concept, and there are lots of other companies that have come along and make NUCs as well. In fact, if you go to newegg.com, which is one of the big marketplaces for computer parts, and you search for NUCs, or you search for, there's other terms for these mini PCs, but if you search for NUCs, you'll see a whole variety of these. And you can get a very high-end system from Intel or Asus or a variety of companies that would be just like a desktop PC. The only difference is, you can't open the case and swap out stuff as easily. I mean, you can open the case, but it's not as easy to open up as a PC. But at the same time, it's sure a lot easier to carry around. In fact, it's smaller than a laptop.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
the portability of it, and then let me ask you another question. My work computer is an HP, and my docking station is HP as well. Would it make sense to get a Hewlett-Packard?
Yeah, HP makes them. They call them their mini desktop PCs.
Okay.
Same kind of idea. They're maybe a little bit bigger. If you're happy with HP, see no reason to not to get them. And you do save money because unlike a laptop, there's no keyboard, screen, mouse. It's just a box. But it's sure a lot easier to carry around. And they have a big variety of these, ranging from a few $100 to well over $1,000. Here's one with an i7. Let's see, you want more than 8 gigs of memory. You probably use a lot of memory, I would guess. But that's $1,000. Yeah.
Okay.
I would look at the HPs, but then I would go and look at the Intel NUCs and the Asus Minis. There are quite a few of these. Okay. This is Dell makes they call them micro PCs. This is a big category, and yeah, I think if you're going to be on the road, a digital nomad, I'm so jealous.
Yeah,
I'm so jealous. I have a friend, of course, who does that. Mike Elgin. He is the original digital nomad, and MikeElgin.com is his website, and you could actually ask him questions too, because he's, they don't spend more than 6 months in any one place. They move around quite a bit, and even during COVID, they've been able to do that. So,
yeah, I mean, this is a new way. I mean, the office that we have downtown LA, my company is going to let the lease go, and
everybody's going to be doing this.
Yep. Anyway, so
and think about the money that you're going to live in paradise, and the money you're going to save on living costs will make you, you'll be able to put away a ton of money. I have a friend who's living in Mexico right now. Her rent, including a maid, is $500 a month. And she's got twice the square footage that she had in her apartment in Texas. So honestly, this is a great opportunity and to see the world.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, I was in Mexico early December, and I kind of gave it I didn't bring my 2 monitors, but just my laptop. And you're right. The
Internet's the
internet
problem.
Connection is, but it worked okay. It's definitely a little slower, but...
well, and you can make that a priority when you're choosing your place,
Sure.
So Retcon, who's in our chat room, he says he's an IT guy. He's been setting up his company conference rooms with the HP micros, the HP Elite Desktop 705 Mini G5, if you want all the the numbers and names. He says really reliable, really these are business. The 705 Desktop Mini G5. They're a little bigger than NUCs, but they're still pretty small. They come with Ryzen Pro processors, which gives you great bang for the buck. If you need a GPU, I don't think you would unless you're going to do some video editing or something. They come with AMD Radeon graphics if you want. Not the best, but enough. These are like little PCs. They're really cool.
Yeah, I'm due for a new desktop anyway.
You're going to love it. This thing has an HDMI port on the back, but also dual display ports. So you could put 3 monitors on there if you want. Of course, 4 USB ports, Ethernet, if you're lucky enough to find a wired connection. Yeah, those are pretty nice. Recommended. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Dick, baby Dick. No, it's not Dick. It's Burn, baby Burn. Leo Laporte, the tech guy. Dick DeBartolo is here, Mad Magazine's maddest writer for many a year. He's also our gizmo wizard. We call him the Giz Wiz. And we always play disco, and Dick dances in because he's such a good disco inferno dancer. Hello, Dick DeBartolo. How are
Leo,
you?
how you doing, pal? I'm good. And you?
I am wonderful. I'm feeling good. Did you get the vaccine yet, Dick?
Gosh, Dennis and I, we have appointments, but not till the end of March.
What? I guess New York State is a little behind.
It's, they opened, they announced they were opening the Javits Center, a big convention center that was converted to a hospital. Unfortunately, they never converted it back to a convention center.
Why bother? Right.
24/7, you can get vaccinations. So 2 hours after they opened, I went online. January booked.
Oh,
February
my goodness.
booked. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
I know. So I got like March 28th. By the time I finished my application and went back in for Dennis, March 31st was the first one I could. Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, you have 8 million people here.
Yeah, everybody wants to do it. But I have to point out, very famously, when there was a smallpox epidemic in New York, I'm trying to remember when this was, they vaccinated 1 million people in a week.
Really?
Yeah. It's very famous. And 1947, there was a smallpox outbreak, and it was the first ever mass vaccination conducted in America, and they were able to give everybody in New York, basically, within a week or two, and as a result, there were very few deaths from smallpox.
Wow. That's fascinating.
We must have forgotten how to do that.
Yeah, I think so. I think what they did is they gave the conductors on the subways those needles, and they just hung out the window, and as the train pulled out, they just injected.
I don't know how it's an amazing story if you ever want to read about it. 1.2 million doses in about 2 weeks. And
now you need almost 8 million.
Yeah, well, you need more these days, don't you?
Yeah.
But actually, overall, they claim 5 to 6 million vaccinations.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was everybody in New York at the time. Anyway, enough of that. We can't even get people to wear masks in New York, so forget it.
Oh, no. The Upper West Side's very good.
They're good in the Upper West Side.
About 95%.
That's where Dick lives.
Adherence to wearing a mask.
That's good. Dick joins us every week to share a gizmo with us. What do you got?
Yeah, you'll be interested in this. And you might say, are they kidding? Okay, it's another CES honoree from CES 2021. Do you remember the Keurig Cold?
No, I know. We have a Keurig coffee maker.
Oh, okay. It's about 5 years ago, Keurig came out with the Keurig Cold, a way to make soda instantly.
Well, you were the first person to ever tell me about Soda Stream. Is this like a Soda Stream?
No, this was they worked with Coke, and you could make your own.
It was a little pod, a little soda pod?
Yes, exactly. The problem was you would make soda, and it would be about 50 cents a glass. It didn't taste very good. The machine was $500.
Oh, forget it.
Anyway, well, now they've come back with Cold Snap.
Oh.
So this is kind of
You know what else is better? Frozen cocktails.
Yeah. So this machine, this is a big machine, okay? The guy said it weighs, I think, 55 pounds, he said. And you drop in a aluminum can. You can make ice cream with it. You can make... Yes. You could be able to make frozen drinks. All right. Now, They're pitching it for the home, but it is, I said to the guy, does this come with a chair optional to sit down in when you hear the price? Because it's $1,000.
Oh, you'd have to really want some ice cream.
Yeah. I mean, probably an office, maybe a small restaurant. This would be a great way.
Oh, it does soft serve. But,
really fast.
So, but you get like a can with the stuff in it.
Exactly.
How much are those cans?
The cans are between $2.50 and $3.
Oh, forget it. This is like for rich people. This is
I guess.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Well, if you really had to have a soft serve, I guess.
Yes, exactly. And they said, if it's a big hit, they hope to get that down to $500, cut the price in half.
So that's often the case with this stuff like this, where the first units are very pricey because
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
The cans are about the size of a soda can. They're not small like K-Cups.
No, absolutely not.
But what is the machine actually doing? Is because it looks like everything you're going to get is already in the can, right?
Yeah, it is. But don't forget, the machine basically is a little refrigerator.
Oh, it's freezing it as it's squirting.
Yeah, because it's not frozen in the can. You just take it, and the PR people said cleanup is real easy because everything's in the can, and then the can just gets recycled.
Do you have to wait for it to get frozen?
90 seconds.
Oh, wow.
To make a serving of soft serve. So it's really fast.
Well, that's okay. But that's,
but it's expensive.
Yeah, $1,000.
Yeah. I can imagine an office. Back in the Goodson Todman days, we would add one of these in the executive kitchen.
Oh, Good Morning. Yeah, Good Morning America's got it in the green room for sure. They got the money. I don't know. Would World News Now have this in the green room?
World News Now might have an ice cream cone in the green room.
You bring your own ice cream,
and you just feel free to fill it.
Bring your own ice cream. We'll provide the cones. So, is this from Keurig? No, this is another.
This is from Keurig. It is
the Cold Snap from Keurig. Remember last year at CES, it was a Keurig of everything. We even saw a Keurig of olive oil that would make a little bit of
not by them, but other
people. Yeah,
yes, exactly.
But there were pods that would make baked treats. There were all sorts of things. Yeah. I guess we love pods for some reason. They're convenient, right?
They're convenient, and cleanup is real easy.
I'm still waiting for the Star Trek food, machine that can make anything. You press a button. Replicator, they called it, right? I want a replicator.
Well, the man who was the first person to buy the June oven.
Me.
Yes.
At a ghastly price. Now they're a third of that.
I know. And they do more. I remember at 2 years ago when the second June oven came out, I said, I have a friend, Leo Laporte. And he said, oh, yeah, don't tell him about this. Because it does more and it's half of what he paid.
I spent so much on that. Cold Snap from Keurig. Where would you find out about that? You'd find out about it on Dick's website, which is gizwiz.biz. If you're there, play the What the Heck Is It contest, a chance to win an autographed copy of Mad Magazine. I don't want to say anything, Dick, but I think your microphone is on fire. It seems to be smoking. So just, you might want to put that out.
Yeah.
I didn't want to stop you during...
My humidifier.
Oh, that's a humidifier.
As close to me as I could because it is freezing in New York.
Yeah, and dry.
And my electric heater is making this room bone dry.
Bone dry. So you got a Cold Snap inside and outside. Ladies and gentlemen, gizwiz.biz. Don't forget his wonderful podcast with Chad Johnson at gizwiz.tv. Thank you, Dickie D.
Thank you, buddy. Next week.
Always a pleasure. That's it for today. I'm Leo Laporte, the Tech Guy. Have a great geek week. Well, that's it for the Tech Guy Show for today. Thank you so much for being here. And don't forget, TWiT, TWiT. It stands for This Week in Tech, and you'll find it at twit.tv, including the podcasts for this show. We talk about Windows on Windows Weekly, Macintosh on MacBreak Weekly, iPads, iPhones, Apple Watches on iOS Today, security on Security Now. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And, of course, the big show every Sunday afternoon, This Week in Tech. You'll find it all at twit.tv. And I'll be back next week with another great Tech Guys show. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you next time.